Welcome to lesson 4-2. Estimate the product of a decimal and a whole number. Your I can statement is, I can use rounding and compatible numbers to estimate the product of a decimal and a whole number. Please push pause, write down your topic and your I can statement. When you're ready to go on, push play. There is no vocabulary, so today we're going to go immediately into our solve and share problem. And we, like we always do, are going to use cubes. Oh boy, here we go, to help us solve our story problem. And it says Renee needs 32 strands of twine for an art project. Each strand must be 1 2,500 centimeters long. About how many centimeters of twine does she need? Solve this problem any way you choose. About, I'm going to box about because that is a light bulb in my brain that says I need to estimate. And as I evaluate this problem, I need to go back to our I can statement that says I can use rounding or compatible numbers to solve it. She needs 32 strands of twine, and each strand must be 1 2,500 centimeters long. About how many centimeters of twine does she need? So I am going to look here. We have 1 and we have 2 holes. And it says she needs 1 2,500 strands of twine. So 2,500 is a quarter. So I basically just put this into 4 quarters. 1 2,500 would be there. And this would be 1 1/2, and that would be 1 7/500. Now, if I was to use rounding, I would say that 1 2,500 is closer to 1. But in this situation, I wouldn't want an underestimate because I wouldn't want to be short on twine, or we wouldn't have enough. So in this situation, because I want to make sure I have enough twine to use for her art project, I'm going to overestimate. And I am going to take the centimeters of twine to 2 centimeters. So I would take 32 times 2, and I would get 64 centimeters of twine would be needed. That way, as an overestimate, I know she's going to be able to complete her art project. If I would have estimated it to 1, she wouldn't have been able to complete her art project because she wouldn't have had enough twine. So it's very important that you read your question and make sure if you can use an underestimate or an overestimate. Now, there wouldn't be anything wrong if you would have done the underestimate, but I want to make sure if I'm estimating, I'm going to be covered to at least finish the project and not have to go back to the store later on. So let's look at our sample examples. Fabian said it is better to have too much twine rather than not enough. Awesome job, Fabian. I agree. So he took 2 times 32 and got 64. So she would have enough to turn in her art project. So he had an overestimate. And we have Gianna. And remember, she's fine. And her answer is reasonable as well. She just did an underestimate. So she's going to have to go back to the store later on when she doesn't have enough twine. So she took 125, which is closer to 1, times 32 and got 32. So she says she's going to need 32 centimeters. It's just going to be an underestimate. Oh, this was a fun one tonight. So what I want you to do is I want you to summarize if you chose to do the underestimate and went with 1 times 32 and why. Maybe it's because it was just closer to 1. Or if your thinking was, I don't want her to be short, so I'm going to do the overestimate and I'm going to bump it up to 2 just because of the story problem. So come back to school tomorrow and be ready to share.